Your Excellency, what role do you see for international collaboration and partnership in driving AI innovation and standardization?
Thanks. If we just look at it from the perspective that 15% of the global economy is digital economy, and the main driver of growth and innovation in that space is coming today from AI. It's no wonder why policymakers, regulators, academia, and the private sector are so focused on harnessing what AI can bring to the table. And as a result, we were seeing a lot of international cooperation when it comes to AI. And some of the issues that you kind of hinted to at the beginning cannot be solved unilaterally, but it needs a multilateral approach. Think of the issues related to either deep fake or misinformation. That will require a global effort, perhaps something around the best standards around generative AI labeling practices and best practices. That could be the best way to resolve such problems. And back when Saudi was hosting the G20 or leading the G20 effort, we were able to get a consensus around the AI principles, which today in the Brazilian presidency, we're seeing the implementation of that in terms of the AI guidelines. It's at the core of these principles is accountability, and which leads to the importance of data traceability as these data sets go from one algorithm to another to create these derivatives. In Saudi, we're a key believer in international cooperation when it comes to inclusivity, when it comes to AI safety. And last year, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman announced the International Center for AI Research and Ethics. And as you probably would infer, these topics are very complex and very hard to figure it out. And the center aims to kind of address some of these issues we're seeing in this space. Earlier this year in February, the center also announced its contribution to the inclusivity questions with the Generative AI for All initiative, which they launched with the partnership with the Digital Corporation Organization, DCO. And later this year, Saudi will be hosting the Internet Governance Forum, which hope to address matters when it comes to data free flow and open internet, which are very important inputs when it comes to development of AI.
We've talked a lot about AI, we've talked a lot about innovation, we've talked a lot about business. It would be interesting to hear from you around some of the interesting innovation that you see happening in business as a result of AI, and some specific AI-driven innovations that you think have significantly impacted business strategies.
So I think we're continuing to see it, and the more time we give businesses, the more impact we're going to see. But it took us maybe 10 years for e-services and e-commerce to be fully adopted and to have an impact on the way we conduct our daily lives. I think we're going to see the same with AI, where we're going to see some changes at the beginning, but it is not the fundamental impact that all the hype is being about. So I'm just cautioning that for people not to be let down, this is going to take some time. Early signs when it comes to chatbots and how companies are changing the way they interact with their customers is now very visible to many of us that interact using apps and the internet. However, on a more deeper technology evolution and change of strategy, think about autonomous cars or self-driving cars. AI in mobility is not new. We've used it for lane keeping. We've used it for collision protection. But now, when we have self-driving cars, which early numbers indicate they're about 16 times safer than normal cars, a new industry started to be evolved, which is robotaxis. Now, take that robotaxi and think about the impact on the taxi industry. But better yet, think of the impact of robotaxis on the disruptor, the rail-hailing apps that where it was just talked about, are the disruptors of the taxi business. And it was just a few years ago. That's a fundamental change to their business model. Ride-hailing apps are very asset light. They don't own the cars. And with the introduction of self-driving robo-taxis, is it time for them to think about owning the taxis or the cars and fundamentally changing their business model? Think about logistics as well. Using robotics and the robotics industry has been using AI for probably since the inception of it. Using it in warehousing reduces the time from click to ship by around 80%, from 70 minutes down to less than 15 minutes. Think about how e-commerce is going to fundamentally change because of that. And think about the last mile delivery, where self-driving robotics are delivering packages. I was in China late last year and got a chance to look at firsthand at Meituan, a large e-commerce company that has now reduced the price of delivering last mile down to $2. And all the evolution that's going to come with last minute delivery and the whole logistics scene. Even on a government perspective, and I'll take a local example here from Saudi Arabia. We have the largest virtual hospital in the world. They also use AI and machine learning to go through CT scans of brain strokes and correctly not only annotate these scans, but also recommend the best prescription going forward. Think about the virtual hospital. In that capacity serves around 72 traditional hospitals. And they do about 4,000 CT scans per year. Think about the change in strategy for these traditional hospitals as who they're going to hire in the future with the availability of AI in the virtual hospital. Where should they focus their resources? So, to kind of summarize, already we're seeing the impact, but I think the long-term impact as AI diffuses into industries is yet to be seen.